natural abilities. That's what you need.
Look at that.
Only the aliens could have built this. Okay, yeah, that was aliens. There's no doubt. Congress has basically verified that they're there, man.
Basically.
They're already there. From
This
Fabulous.
episode is made possible by our therapy partners, Dirty B and Myra. From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. Welcome to a special mansplaining edition of Pod Therapy. And now, broadcasting from the churn, that's Dr. Jim, that's Whitney.
Hey,
I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
I'm from Texas.
Jim, you stop making fun of me.
I love his Southern belle. That's Southern woman is a great impersonation. I like that one.
So Whitney is not here today. So it's
unsupervised.
It's an old. It's a throwback.
A throwback to the pre-Whitney era.
Throwback, yeah.
Some prefer the pre-Whitney era.
And here's the interesting thing.
Get ready for some middle-aged white guy talk.
It's been a while since we've
Classic.
been using
Goes
that.
down smooth.
I know she told us she wasn't going to be here. I know she told us why.
Yeah.
Gun to my head,
It's
I couldn't tell
always
you
Hawaii.
what that is.
It's always Hawaii.
I know it wasn't
if
Hawaii.
she's not here, she's in Hawaii.
I know she told us, but I have no idea.
Who are you
don't
talking about?
listen.
I think I stopped listening.
Yeah.
No, here's
You
the...
know that blonde chick? That's,
No.
That's always loitering?
Guys,
I
got
thought that
it.
was Mercedes.
Yeah.
I got it. I think I know. And for those of you listening at home who always want to know how the male brain works,
Yeah.
let me explain this to you.
Okay.
I think I know where
This is
she's
it.
at.
Yeah.
I think she may have gone to a wedding in California.
How'd you get there?
Let me show you the math.
Yeah. Okay, where'd you get this chalkboard
Because
first off?
I needed a fourth for golf this past weekend.
Uh-huh.
So I texted Peter.
Her husband.
Yeah. I said, hey, looking for a fourth. Can you play? He's like, I can't. I'm at a wedding in California. So here's what I know.
Yeah.
I know Peter is married to Whitney.
Yeah.
I also know.
That they wouldn't
No, don't get ahead of me.
remarried.
Don't get ahead of me.
All right, sorry. Do your math.
I know that married couples tend to do things together.
Yeah, some.
Ergo,
Yeah.
he and her may be together.
So I
at
actually
a
think you're
wedding.
wrong on this, and here's
Okay,
why.
all right.
I remember her telling us a whole story about him having to road trip with a buddy for a...
No, that was for the bachelor party.
Oh, okay. So then
Yeah.
you might be right.
Who the fuck are you two talking about?
Wouldn't that be great if
What?
we gaslit everybody? And like one day we just like pretend like she never existed. Just never fucking talk about her again. It was like, what the
But we
fuck?
don't. But we keep her
Do you
on the
remember
show.
those like 50 episodes where she was on the show for like a year? Like, what are you talking about? Oh man, I'm excited for all that. What were we talking about again? Oh yeah, Whitney. I don't know where she is. God rest her soul.
Anyway, but we're going to be okay.
Do you think that she's been around long enough now that she listens to episodes she's not on to figure out if we talk shit about her?
No.
I don't think she gives shit.
No.
She doesn't care.
No.
Yeah. Somebody in the Discord was like, they were complaining about us and they were saying something to
On our
Whitney's
Discord?
praise. Yeah, I know, right? Our fan club. Fuck these idiots. Why are we all here? That's half the conversation.
I get that.
And Whitney was like, what are you talking about? Because they were like, oh, I've tolerated all three of them in the past. And Whitney was like, what are you talking about? And they kind of explained their case that, you know, we've all done stupid shit. And Whitney's like, I need to listen to the back catalog. And everybody pounded on her. It's like, you haven't listened to the back catalog? She's like, I mean, come on. Like, who really would?
Would she have joined if she did?
Right? How else do you think we got her?
Listeners, if you want to go down that route, then you got to come after me too.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you think I've listened to one of these shows that I'm not on, or
There's
paid
only
attention to
20
any
of them
these
or
shows,
something.
Or listen to a show that you were on.
Didn't we figure out that it was like episode 46 or something where Jacob shows up? It wasn't even a year.
I don't
so
know.
he shows up in season 1.
Yeah.
So
whatever
if
it was,
you're a Pod Therapy originalist, Jacob's
whatever it
in
was,
season 1.
I haven't listened to any of those other episodes. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what we talked about last week.
Yeah. You've also never listened. You haven't listened to the one you were live at Scoop Fest.
Right. No.
True. All that's weak. Welcome to Pod Therapy, the show where the points don't matter. If you want to hear about my awesome new business idea, and guys, again, you know, don't say no. Just think about it. I'm just telling you.
I will say, I'll admit,
It's what the people
I'll concede a point.
Okay.
It was a much better idea than I expect Jim to have.
It's a solid
Well,
business
no, it was
plan.
a great idea, as evidenced by other people already doing it.
Right.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, but the wheel's been invented and we still use that. Thank you. I'll take your silence as
Touche.
concession. Okay? I'm saying, look, this town's big enough for two. There could
Okay.
be a north side and a south side. We can get into a turf war over it. I'm just saying
I
we
do
could
love a good turf war.
He loves a good turf war. We could be like
You
the
know what's even
Sharks.
better is a surf and turf war.
Yeah.
Ooh, can we do that? Can
Why
you,
not? Why
can
can't
you
you?
put seafood on a Philly?
Ooh.
I don't know. I feel like it's wrong, but it might be right.
Oh, now hold on.
Can you do this?
Artisanal Philly fries.
Artisanal.
Spelled with the PH.
Of course.
Artisanal Philly
Philly
fries.
fries. This is actually getting way better. We
right,
should do
I'm
a
back
different.
in.
Yeah. Thank you. Now you got me.
Just Philly
You got me.
cheesesteak with like some lobster chunks
Oh,
on it.
let's do that.
Lobster
We could do a
chunks.
lobster rollover fries too. I mean,
yeah.
let's just run with this bit. Like, let's get rid of the roll. Lobster shit on fries.
I
That
think
would work.
fries is just the that's the answer.
That's the universal delivery service.
Didn't the store Fries, didn't they go out of business? I think we could just use the name.
Yes, and the building because
Yeah.
we need space
yeah,
to,
yeah.
to make our products. So
There is. My mom was in town a few weeks ago and she pointed at the old Fries. So there used to be a store in Vegas called Fries Electronics. And I really liked them actually. They sold
Yeah.
a lot
it
of
was
like
great.
Oh, yeah.
like if you
Discount.
needed something from Fries, if you
had
needed
it.
something that they had, it was the perfect store to go to.
Yes.
Which was things like parts of, like if I needed to build a switch for something,
Yeah.
they had all the parts I needed. They had like weird specific electronic parts. It was
Yes.
great. But they're out of business. The retail space that they had was enormous.
huge.
Oh,
as
it's
big as a
bigger than-
Costco.
It's bigger
Oh,
than a
yeah.
Costco. It's bigger
Yeah.
than like
Yeah.
a super Walmart. It's bigger than any of those.
It's got like a
those types of
for
things.
lease sign on it right now.
Yeah. And I mean, it's 9 stories tall. I mean,
Who's
it's just
gonna lease
enormous. And yeah, we're looking at that. And mom, that's what she was asking. She's like, who is going to occupy that building?
Yeah,
I was
if
like,
it's not
no
a
one.
Sam's Club, I don't know who takes that.
I think it's too big.
I believe the reason they went out of business was the CFO embezzled their money.
Oh, really?
And then there was like all these federal charges, and then they had to go belly up because
Oh,
there was
shit.
no funds to pay their bills or something
Oh.
like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I bet their bill for that space was pretty fucking big.
Yeah, you got to imagine the overhead had to be enormous.
Yeah.
So that's why we're going to keep our food truck thing small. I'm talking just a Tacoma, like a Toyota Tacoma.
I am very happy to build a
griddle in the back.
podcast studio in the former Fries building, though.
multitask.
So
I
if
like
somebody
this.
wants to like
Yeah.
lease us that Fries building,
Yeah, we'd
I'll
use a
run
corner of it.
and just operate a podcast studio out of it.
Dude, can you imagine the bill to air condition that bitch? Oh,
Well, whoever's paying the lease also is paying the bill.
Just the sound insulation all the way around.
Yeah.
yeah. Just so we don't get the echo
right.
in the cave of wonders that was Fries.
You know how many of those square foam things
Yeah.
we're gonna have to
Right.
I need 10 million of
We
these.
might need some spray foam.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/therapy to hear about a genius business idea that we definitely didn't allude to at all here. And also our favorite cereals and cookies growing up. I think those were also.
Yeah, we went a little off the rails.
Growing up? No. His favorite cookies.
It's
currently.
present as well.
Yeah.
Also, I think that we could probably start a business where we sell Girl Scout cookies. I mean, do they have a monopoly on that?
I don't think we could call them Girl Scout.
I think we could sell cookies.
Could we
Yeah.
though? What if we spell with a PH? I think we can get it in there.
Fookies?
Yeah.
Fookie.
Jacob's Fookies and Fries.
Not as dirty as it sounds.
Or is he exactly as dirty as it sounds? You have to pay extra. Patreon.com/therapy. Come check it out and join the community. We got some great questions this week, and we're starting off with successfully scraping by from Anonymous. Hey, Pod Therapy guys. Yes, it is. Yes. Lady-free episode. Odd question, but thought it was worth a shot. I'm an early mid-20-something licensed professional counselor who has ADHD, inattentive type, and generalized anxiety disorder, as well as I'm currently in a counselor education and supervision PhD program. I do HIIT training at a popular chain gym nearby daily, eat well mostly, volunteer, am heavily involved in a happy sport, and have many wonderful friends, family, and great supportive fiancé. I completed my master's in May of 2023 and loved every second of it. Now I enjoy my clients and love my population of mostly teens. I decided to go back for a PhD to be able to teach in order to diversify work and hopefully help prevent burnout. I also hope to be able to work as an expert witness and or mediator, finding my way more into the court system. A PhD is helpful for all my goals. Here's the problem. I cannot bring myself to care about the classes. I really want the PhD. I want to complete the assignments and get good grades. Plus, my anxiety won't let me not completing assignments or not attend classes, but I do not give a flying leap about learning the material. This is polar opposite from my master's, where I wanted to dig into every word. I've tried to explore what's going on, but I want to be there. Currently, my professor is wonderful, and the topic of the class is genuinely interesting and even relevant to my coursework or my current work. I have the money and time, and there is no way I could bring myself to take a break or quit the program. I still find myself doing the bare minimum, not even reading, half listening in class, not watching the videos, etc. I do have a very high GPA, so grades aren't the issue. My attitude is. And boy, I wish my attitude was easily changeable. I feel bad even saying this since it sounds so arrogant that I'm doing well without trying. I cannot figure out for the life of me how to bring myself to care, but I want to care. Any suggestions or insights into how to motivate oneself to care? How can I work to get the most out of this experience so I do not regret it later? Sincerely, future Dr. No Shits Given. Thank you. Pronouns are she and her.
Okay. So I guess the first question that I was kind of wondering is, why do you want to care?
Why is it important to you?
Well, she says, I want to care. But like, if you don't, you don't. Like, what is it about it that is it that like you feel guilty, like you're not getting something out of it? Do you feel like you're missing out if you don't care? You know, what is it exactly that's causing that?
Right.
I mean, because there are some techniques that I can think of if you want to just improve your focus to get through it.
Right.
You know, I mean, if you want to learn the material, there's ways that you can do that.
Right.
So like, for example, one of the things that worked for me was I would imagine myself having to teach the material.
That's huge.
Yeah. And so I kind of discovered this once in my undergrad when there was a group of us in class that were kind of struggling. I can't remember what the class was.
Math.
But that's no joke, dude.
Yeah, math is a bitch.
I had to take like high school level math.
Yeah.
And therapy producer Ben and I were joking about this the other day because, like, for whatever reason, like our high school, we didn't have the math course that we needed. So we're in college and we had to take this like
remedial math.
Like, and
Algebra 1.
Sucked.
Yeah.
The worst
It
is when you're in
terrible.
college, you have to take a class that's called like math.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Not even
Math,
college
yeah.
math.
Yeah. And it's always like
just
098 or
Yeah,
something. It's
right.
not even a 100 class.
There's always one kid in the corner still eating paste.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
like-
man.
It's like, oh, man, that sucks. No, but so like, there's a group of us. We'd get together and we would just go over the material, right? And so I kind of just I figured out that I ended up.
This is a number.
Yeah. So I realized that I ended up like taking notes, knowing that I'm going to tell other people about this.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, my grade just shot up.
Yeah.
Because it just all of a sudden it made sense to me because I was paying attention in a new way that I never
Right.
had before.
Yep.
Paying attention to like I have to be able to know it to explain it, as opposed to maybe someday I'll use this.
Right.
Which is a whole different level of attention.
Learning it for a test is
Yeah.
a different thing.
Yes.
That's a minimalist thing.
Yeah.
And you're really just trying to play a game of poker with the professor to figure out what they're going to throw at you.
Yeah.
You just want to hit that ball. I completely agree with you. And
That's not
writer,
how poker works.
that's not, I'm mixing metaphors again. So anyway, we want to dunk the poker chip. So
There you go.
I completely agree with this. And especially, writer, you're talking about you want to get the PhD specifically so you can become a professor. And I'll tell you right now, Nick's advice is so perfect. And this is one of the most effective ways I've ever found. So like I had the same exact problem. I think in my master's, definitely my doctorate, where the class was interesting or whatever, and I found it like intellectually fascinating because it just seemed important or whatever, it was studying important things, but I wasn't enmeshed in it like the way I was with my master's. Because I think when you're a master's student and your goal is to become a professional therapist, you're learning in this way of like, oh God, somebody's life's going to be in my hands. And so it's kind of like learning CPR and knowing you're going to be an EMT. Like, you're just like, oh God, like, what do you do again? Like, show me that one more time. I want to make sure I know what I'm doing. So you have this like urgency that's pushing you forward. You're doing more post-grad work when you're already licensed. It isn't there. It's really just a terminal degree. It's really just like feather in your cap so you can have a title or so you can do other things later in your career or be a leader. So like, it doesn't have that urgency. It feels like this investment in like your later years. And so it doesn't have that interest. But what you just said is exactly how I got through it. Every course book that we got, I would outline it and turn it into a PowerPoint. And throughout the course, I would add slides to the PowerPoint, breaking down every chapter's main topics as if I would one day have to teach that to somebody, because I thought in the back of my head, I might. And so like, one of the things I really like is I have a file in my computer that is a breakdown of like a lot of my graduate education into like these little bite-sized PowerPoint things that I've prepared in case I ever get a job as a professor, which nobody will ever give me, Nick, because every fucking university in this country hates my ass.
The system works.
Hates me. Hates me. I'll never get a shot. But that's completely
it's almost like they did
true.
their research.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the other thing. The writer talks about wanting to be a forensic psychologist or an expert witness.
Yeah.
So I looked into this, and I strongly consider, because it's actually a really interesting gig, right? So you get to review cases and then just basically come in and say, okay, based on, not just what the science says, but my profession and how we think of things or would conclude things, here's what I think. So I got really into this at one point because it can be an entire career. And for some, like, more emeritus, like statured therapists, it can be a great side hustle that can honestly rival your primary income. And it's very minimal work. Like, you do a lot of research, and then you show up to court and you're treated well, and you present your stuff, and nobody's really trying to, piss in your breakfast.
An old friend of
cereal.
mine does this for economics.
So
interesting.
I looked into it. There was a workshop I could go to like learn about it, and they sent me all this information, and I was really getting excited about it. And then I realized I can never do it. And do you know why?
No.
Pod therapy. Yep. I'll never be taken seriously. So no matter what I'm asked to talk about,
that's true.
The opposing counsel who doesn't like my point of view would just play shit from pod. Let's just do some real quick clips of our expert, and I'd be impeached so quickly that I'd never get a chance.
Dr. Jobin, was it episode 233 where you suggested sticking your dick into a baguette?
Yeah. Your father's dick has been in me.
Ah, shit!
There's so many drops. Yeah, I just have no prayer. And so it was really funny because I remember having a very sad day when I looked at, like, I was so excited. I was like really going down this rabbit hole. And like for several months, I was like reading about it and getting I bought books on it. And then I remember when it dawned on me and I was like, oh God, I can never do this. It's over. Like, I made that choice in 2018 that I can never do this. I was so sad. So good luck for you, buddy. But
Okay,
it says something about you that you actively explored being an expert witness.
man, that would have been so cool. You just speak on issues. There's like, hey, what's the
you do
definition
that
of alcoholic?
currently.
I know. Here, where they don't pay us lawyer money to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we get to do it anyway. But
So future Dr. No Shit's given, don't start a podcast.
oh, don't do that. Yeah, not if you want to be taken seriously. Which also might be the reason I've never gotten a professor gig too, because this is pretty fucking searchable. So,
But here's the other thing too, I think, with this, is that like, you're doing well enough to get the grade.
yeah,
At the end of the day, that's probably what you need.
It
because like, there's a lot of stuff. Learning doesn't stop. It's not like you have one opportunity for this information to seep into your head and then it's gone. Like, later on in life, in your career, when you need this information, it's still going to be available to you. You may have to work a little bit harder to access it, but it's still going to be there. So it's not like, that it's now or never in that sense. So another thing to kind of consider and think about.
yeah. But I get it. I mean, I get like wanting to really care about this, especially because it's the doctorate level, and so you're like, oh my gosh, this is really important. Another thing that can be really helpful too, if your program requires a dissertation or a thesis, really just breaking down all the information you're reading as if it's going to be relevant to that work, which really helped me too in developing my dissertation, was treating every book like I was gathering data, and, every assignment as if I was gathering data, and just like trying to sort it very differently. It is an active process similar to preparing everything like I was going to teach it. I was categorizing and like breaking down and summarizing all the data I was bumping into for the purpose of eventually, if I would need it for my dissertation. So those are ways that I think you can kind of remotivate yourself, but you're at the very end of the road. And I think there's like a senioritis that just kind of settles in, where you're like, okay, when I'm done with this, I will never go to school again. Not for any fucking reason. And I think you hit this wall where you're just like, okay, yeah, so I'm just finishing this lab or whatever. Mm-hmm. I get it. Like, you run out of gas, and I don't think you should put the standard on yourself, writer, where you have to be motivated or you're doing it wrong. I think at this point, you've been a lifelong learner. You've beat every single level of school and education we have. You're at the finish. At this point, it feels routine. It doesn't feel invigorating. It doesn't feel exciting. And I don't think that's necessarily wrong. I think that's because you've been a lifelong learner and you've developed a certain level of educational expertise. And so, yeah, it comes easy at this point, and you just kind of walk through your paces and you finish it up. But it'll be worth it when it's done, and it will open up some career options as long as you don't start a podcast.
For sure.
That's the way you don't want to go. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about ADHD without ADHD. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by our producers, Robert Brownie Jr., Mint, Kayla Lansbury, Cindy Ash, Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Myra, Lib, Heyo, and Dan Martin. And if you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. We got some trivia submitted to us by Cody Sherrington.
Ooh.
Hello, Jacob and the other idiots. Hey! I have a trivia game for you. I'm a car guy, so naturally the game I thought of is car related.
Pauly. Final answer.
I'm going to give you the year, make, and model of 4 cars. Your goal is to choose the vehicle with the quickest 0 to 100 kilometer or 0 to 60 freedom units. Good luck. So, question number 1, which car is the fastest? Here
All right,
are
so
our
fastest
choices.
0 to 60, you're giving us 4 possibilities.
Yes.
Got it.
A, 1973 AMC Javelin AMX.
Okay.
The 1980 Ferrari 308 GTSI. C, the 2017 Toyota Sienna Limited. D, 1997 Dodge Dakota SLT.
Wow.
All right.
I'm going to go first.
Go ahead.
Of course you are.
I want the Dakota.
Okay.
The Dodge Dakota.
I like Dodge.
I used to have a Dakota. It was a good truck.
I feel like Dodge, because of the name, would be faster.
Dodge has fast
They're
vehicles.
Implying that you need to be able to move it quickly. If you can dodge a wrench, dodge a ball.
Okay.
Solid.
All right. I don't have much better logic than Jim has.
Fair.
Let's see. The 2017 Toyota.
Toyota Sienna.
That is tempting. It's a lightweight car. Got a modern engine in it. Ferrari is a Ferrari.
Yep.
It's going to be fast.
Which I think is there.
It feels like a red herring.
It's
does.
there to
Yeah.
get you. Yeah, that was the trap.
I'm going to go
It's the honeypot.
Javelin.
Okay, that's the one I was going to go with as well.
Well, too late.
Yeah.
Tangeman.
I'll take the Sienna.
Okay.
Really?
Yes, I'll take the
Those
Sienna.
were my
Just
two
to-
guesses. Was
just to be
Javelin or
different.
Sienna?
It is the Toyota Sienna.
There you go.
At 6.9 seconds. Okay, so the Javelin 7.6, Ferrari 7.6, Javelin or the Sienna 6.9, Dodge Dakota 8.2. So you're close. You were the slowest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good
we
question.
weren't going for
Question.
slowest? Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I should have listened better because I
Yep.
was picking the one I thought was slowest. All right. Yeah, I'm surprised those were not DeLorean related, but
That's
good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. ADHD without ADHD from Robert Brownie Jr. Mint. Hey, y'all.
Wait, didn't we already cover this with a 14-hour deep dive on ADHD?
Oh, 6 hours, actually. Broken into 4 segments. They were each 90 minutes. That's slightly digestible. One guy talking for an hour and a half.
Yep.
I feel like that's gold. Hey, y'all. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD. I honestly don't think I have ADHD. That said, I've been struggling a lot with focus. I used to be so good at sitting down to focus on learning new skills, practicing guitar, or reading for enjoyment. These days, I struggle to focus on these things. If something is an obligation, I can force myself to focus and get it done. So my work still gets done, but I'm really struggling to focus on anything elective. It's possible that I'm burned out from work and I'm practicing stress management as best I can. I'm going to seek talk therapy as soon as I can find a therapist. But in the meantime, do you have any advice or suggestions? I'd love any behavioral tools you have for me to try. I'm also open to talking to a doctor about chemical assistance, though I don't think something like Adderall is a good fit for me. Are there any stim-free options that might be helpful? Thanks for any advice you can give. Robert Brownie Jr. Mint. P.S. You guys are awesome. But man, Whitney is such a breath of life into the show. Thanks, Rob. Boo. Strongly disagree.
Too bad she'll never hear this.
Nope.
Yep.
She'll never. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're going to start harvesting all the Whitney compliment questions and save them for when she's not here.
Yeah. I don't want her to. Yeah, I don't want to have to start paying her more.
No. We don't need that problem.
All right, Robert. Since
Take her down a peg.
Yeah.
Since you complimented Whitney and not me, the answer to your question is yes.
Yes.
But we're moving on without expanding on that.
Dumb. Yeah, your question's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is something that I like that Robert talks about, where there's a lot of people, again, because of the proliferation of ADHD talk and social media, that they'll say, do you have trouble concentrating? You have a mental disorder. And I like that Rob kind of sits back and goes, look, I have trouble concentrating. I don't personally probably think I have a diagnosis. I'm just trying to solve the problem, right? And just like, give me techniques. Let's approach this from a solution-focused perspective. And I think that's healthy because we don't normalize how inattentive the human race can be and how flighty we are. But we are foragers, hunter-gatherers. Like, it is our nature to be curious monkeys and just like wander around from thing to thing to thing and not necessarily sit and stay in one spot for too long.
Do you think some of this has to do with smartphones?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, geez.
Because, hearing him talk about this, all of this is relatable to me, where I'm sitting at my desk, I'm working, and then I'll just pick up my phone and I'll just start looking at it.
Yeah.
Like, why? And I don't even know why I'm doing it. But I feel like, I need to check something. I need to check social media. I need to check my email, or I need to check something. But I don't. But it's just always there.
Right.
And I think maybe that's part of it, in the sense that we just got so used to having this information so easily accessible that we feel like we have to have it all the time.
Yes.
And I guess, maybe from that evolutionary perspective, where we're hunters and gatherers.
Right.
And so, we may as well pick the berries while they're there.
Yeah.
Because someday they may not be.
Yes.
And so we just kind of get fixated on that all the time. And then all of a sudden we feel like, I'm not getting any work done. I must have ADHD.
Right. Because that's the explanation that's being offered to society right now. But I agree with you. I think that the tech has actually caused us to have this weird, I think our attention spans have definitely decreased. I look back at old WW2 films and stuff like that, and you're seeing people sitting on a bench, opening up a newspaper, and staring at that page, reading columns of black text on white paper to understand what's going on in their world.
Yeah.
And that's a committed moment. They're going to take 20 minutes to just sit there and read that paper. They're not going to talk to other people. It's one topic at a time for these consolidated amounts of time. And I'm looking at them I'm thinking, wow, I don't even read things anymore. I flip through the headlines. When I go to Google News, I'm just scrolling down to see the headlines, or I'm going on TikTok and I'm getting these 10 to 30 second bursts.
I just need you to let Nick and I pick our jaws up off the floor.
Yes.
That you don't read the news.
Can't do it. I've opened up news.
But you're able to form opinions?
Yeah. Oh, concrete. Let me tell you how I do it. I open up ChatGPT in one window. I open up Google News in the other. I click on an article that I'm kind of interested in. I copy the text. I paste it to ChatGPT, and I say, summarize this in 5 points. And then the robot spits out the 5 conclusions that I need to know, and I read 2 of them. Because 5 is way too much.
Read this to me as if you're Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, get this out quick. Yeah, man. I mean, like the attention span of like a
You want me to
modern
read this to you
human.
like I'm fucking a pig?
Yes.
I don't even know what that would sound like.
I need Paul. Where's Paul? Paul would just run with that bit. I wish I could do voices. So yeah, I think the attention span of like our modern species has gotten way shorter. And I think a lot of us bump into exactly what Rob's feeling, where you realize, okay, I would like to enjoy this book. This is a book of good content. I want to go through the whole thing. Or, you know, there's a hobby I want to pick up. I need to learn how to do that. You've, Nick, always had a much, like you're very impressive in this way and in no other. This one specific thing.
Right. Yeah.
You are tenacious whenever you have decided, I would like to be good at this. Like years ago, we were like, hey, let's open up a merch store. And we both realized neither of us is an artist. This is a terrible idea. What are we going to do? And you were like, I am going to learn Photoshop and then become competent in it. And you did. Like you just sat down and like watched fucking hours of movies and just like figured it out. And like now you can do that. I don't know how you do that shit because I can't even get through the ad that starts a YouTube video. Yeah, I'm the key audience for Verbo because, like, as soon as I open it, it's like, "Have you gone on a Verbo vacation? Here's a hut in Tahiti," and I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah!" And I click that, and like hours later, I'm like, "Wait, why was I on YouTube?" And I'm like deep in the rabbit hole of the internet.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just kind of always been that way. I don't know with whatever it is, which is a blessing and then also a curse in some ways.
Yeah, because you can't let shit go.
Yeah,
you get attached to it, and you're like, "Well, this is what I'm doing now."
Yeah,
until it's complete.
Yeah, I can't stop playing guitar until I learn all these 95 jazz chords.
Yeah, gotta know. And then it's finally finished. I'm with Rob. I definitely have more of that like flighty, you know, and it's interesting because the thing that stood out to me in the story, I think that Rob said, this is a new reality. That previously Rob really had a sustainable amount of attention and presently not so much. I've always been flighty. And that's always it, but I've figured out how to work with myself. Because what I've done is I'll create piles of things I'm interested in and scatter it around my life. And then I wander from thing to thing to thing. But I eventually become, you know, I get what I wanted out of all those tasks or I complete them. It's just that I have to wander from thing to thing to thing. I will not sit down and complete the whole one. Like if you gave me a furniture set and told me to build it, I'd start one, get that going, and then be like, ooh, I'm going to go over here and do this one and start that one.
Oh, see, I can't do that.
No, you got to complete it and then go to the next one.
I'm the same way when I eat food.
Oh, we've been over this.
Yeah,
and
we eat Thanksgiving dinner.
Really
I eat one thing, and then I go and eat the other thing, and then I eat the other thing.
Why do people invite you to Thanksgiving? I don't know. You shouldn't be there.
I don't know.
You can't even combine things?
No.
You don't get like a mashed potato bite and then a turkey bite and put that in?
No.
With some gravy on top?
No, finish one thing, go to the next.
Oh, God damn it.
You don't even take a funnel and load all the food into a blender and then pour it down the funnel into your mouth?
Yeah.
No, I don't even do that.
You never had a Thanksgiving smoothie? Yeah. Weird. That's gross.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if some of this might be...
I'd do it.
I would do a Thanksgiving smoothie. I'd give it one try.
Yeah.
Do you think it would matter if like you changed or manipulated your environment in a way where like you eliminate distractions?
That's a start.
Like, okay, so if it's
commit genocide,
like
I don't like that word eliminate there.
Wow, that's
taking it to a dark place there.
That's quite a leap.
If we selectively breed the best possible non-distraction.
It's a weird thing for you to suggest that they do, Nick.
This show is taking a dark turn. Whitney, come back.
No, but what I'm saying is like, you know, if it's the phone thing, leaving the phone in a different room.
For sure.
If it's like a project that you got to focus on, then I'm going to put myself in a room with only that project.
Right.
I don't know. That's one technique that maybe we could try.
I like that. I know. I definitely, that's one of my more successful abilities whenever I have, like, there's a really good book that I'm trying to read right now that's about, like, the great debate of what makes therapy work. Mm-hmm. And so it's tons of data. It's very data heavy. And that always puts me to sleep. But one of the ways I've found to get through it is exactly what you just said. I take my tablet. But this is another problem. I don't like paper books. So like I'm going to read it on a tablet, which my mom bought for me because fuck all of you. Nobody else would give me a tablet, Ben. But my mom bought me
Why
one.
are you entitled to a tablet?
No, he bought one for Jacob, goddammit, a real one.
Yes,
It's very nice.
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
He
Anyway.
sends me one a month.
It's
awesome.
He probably would. So I use that, but the problem is, I made sure that my tablet is only for reading. So I've made sure it doesn't have any fun apps on it, no social media. It's equipped with video apps. So like if I wanted to watch HBO or something on it and just make that a TV, fine. And then reading, and that's what it's for. I keep it on airplane mode to keep like the battery good. And then I leave my tech in other rooms, and I'll leave my phone in another room, and I'll just go sit down and read on this. So that I think is a really effective one. I mean, the idea of getting on meds, we don't give medical advice in one direction or the other. So you should be evaluated by your physician and let that physician tell you what to do. But
Well, I think if it's medication, then there's got to be a diagnosis, right? I mean, and that's kind of...
this is insufficient.
Yeah.
Usually, educational program, Rob, you know the deal. Usually, if your only symptom is I'm having difficulty completing tasks, I'm distractible. Hypothetically, your clinician probably would be looking for more to really render a diagnosis to necessitate meds. Having said that, apparently there's plenty of fucking websites right now that you can just click 3-button surveys and they'll conclude you have ADHD and send you all the goddamn amphetamines you want.
I can never get through all 3 questions.
He is the one. he's the ADHD messiah.
What's this on Verbo? Oh,
Can't
nice.
get through that. It's the chosen one. So I don't know, man. I would hate to see you move straight to meds. I mean, when it comes to behavioral interventions, I agree with Nick's, premise that number one, removing all distractions, bringing yourself just to that task, setting an alarm on your phone or like an old school egg timer that will ding when an hour is up. And that way you don't check the time. You're not trying to orient yourself to other things. You can immerse into that one task and the buzzer will ring when it's time. The oven timer will go off and that will tell you it's time to remove yourself from that task. That way you can give yourself to it for that discrete amount of time. But I actually think it's important to do that. Like I like discrete slices of time rather than just saying I'm going to do something for a while. Because like, I don't know, my brain kind of goes, what else is going on today? Like all of a sudden my brain starts looking around for the next thing because I haven't designated this block of time. Whereas if you walk into an activity and say, we are playing golf for the next 4 hours, that's what we're doing. Okay, like I'm not going to get distracted in the 9th and start walking around like, oh, let's go get fucking ice cream. Like, you guys feel like a burger right now? Like, no, you don't. We're going to complete this unless that is what you do in golf. I don't really know.
No, it's pretty much just golf. Yeah,
Do they have food trucks on the golf course?
not food trucks.
They're
There's
like
a
snack
cart.
Yeah,
Is
like
there a
snacks
Philly
and booze.
Beer cart.
Philly fries truck?
No.
Come on, guys. I think we just found it. That's the demo. The golf guys. They're drunk. They'll buy the fries.
They will, but that's something you put at the end of the round.
That's the reward.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you can't put that in the middle because then it slows pace of play.
All right.
Because then you got everybody stopping.
This is why I need you on the team, Nick. Okay? It's insights like that.
Although it is
Yeah.
fine if everybody slows pace of play the same amount.
So the truck has
That's
to
true.
move
That's true.
in reverse order from 18th.
No,
okay.
if it's just on the
I
ninth.
think we've gotten distracted again. Rob had a question. I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was not about my Philly fries business. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about being cheated on. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's producer sponsors are Robert Brownie, Jr. Mintz, Kayla Lansbury, Cindy Ash, Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Myra, Lib, Heyo, and Dan Martin. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer. Patreon.com/therapy. Cody's second trivia question is, which is the fastest? A, the 1968 Lamborghini. Oh, I can never pronounce this right. Miura.
Toyota.
Mira?
Oh, yeah,
Mira?
yeah, the Lamborghini Mira. Yeah.
Mira. Okay. The 95 Lincoln Continental.
Oh, that's it.
The 2008 Saturn Vue XE all-wheel drive. Or the 1974 Oldsmobile Cutlass.
I kind of want the Cutlass.
I think you went last time, Nick.
I did. You know what? I'm going to go with the Saturn Vue.
Oh, I was going to get the Saturn Vue. What are the other three?
The Lamborghini Mira,
Uh-huh.
Lincoln Continental, or Olds Cutlass.
The old Cutlass. What year was the
74.
Cutlass? 74.
Against a 95 Lincoln Continental or a 68 Lamborghini.
I'm taking the Continental. I'm
You
going
want
with
the
the
Lincoln?
young one.
Yeah, I'll take the olds.
Give me the young legs.
The olds. Okay, so no one's going with the Lamborghini again.
No.
So, or that the other
It's
one was
obviously
a
a
we
red
don't trust
herring.
the Lambo.
Yeah, we don't trust that. It's the Lamborghini.
God
It is
damn
the
it.
Lambo. Yeah.
Okay, so now, but still got the times for. So now we got to figure out the second place here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Lamborghini was 6.1. Second place would be the Lincoln Continental at 7.7 seconds.
All right.
Then the Saturn Vue at 8.3 and the old Cutlass
All right.
8.9.
Wow. All right.
So there we go.
Man, you guys are really bad at cars. But
Oh, are we?
don't worry. I'm here to
After Jim gets
set you
one right?
straight. That's all it takes.
No, it doesn't.
No, Jim
That's
didn't get
not all
one
it
right.
takes.
He was closer than us
was
to getting one
closest,
right.
Yeah, it still wasn't right. Yeah. Just a step ahead.
That's right.
A gentleman's second, I think, is the way that's referred. Oh, also, Rob, check out the book Atomic Habits. I like that one. About breaking down tasks that you want to be able to do efficiently into the smallest possible components. And it talks about how to build strong habits. So could be maybe helpful. So check them out.
You don't think Rob listened to this part of the show too, do you?
He pays for it. So yeah,
No,
probably. he
went-
sticks around.
No, he didn't pay that much
He listened
attention.
to his question. He turned.
He always, that's what he does. He fast forwards
yeah.
through every show until his question shows up. And then he's out.
Yeah.
Rob could just email us and we would just write him back. He's been
we could.
sponsoring the show
Yeah.
since fucking jump.
Yeah.
He has an inside track. I'm pretty sure it's our cell phone numbers. Being cheated on from Anonymous. How do I heal from being cheated on? The part that makes me angry is that I knew something was off, but I never had any proof. Plus, they kept reassuring me by telling me it's all in my head, and I gave them another chance. I can feel the pain and anger physically in my guts. Even thinking about it makes my whole body numb. Why is it? That doesn't make any sense. Thanks, Anonymous. That's a tough one. That's never easy.
Yeah. Well, first off, sorry that happened to you.
That's terrible.
How do you heal from it?
Man.
I mean, I guess it's not, I don't know. In a way, you're kind of healing from that in the same way you'd heal from any kind of abrupt relationship. I think the thing that makes it different isn't necessarily how you've healed from it, but how you keep it from infecting the next relationship.
Yes, the baggage.
Yeah, because I think you're gonna heal from it the same way as if it was the person just said, "Hey, I don't love you anymore. I'm out."
Yeah.
Yeah, which can be just as painful. You're gonna have to get over that just as well as you'd have to get over the cheating thing.
Right.
So I don't know as if there's much difference in the healing. I think it's really just, which I guess you could say that is part of healing, is like, how do you not let it get to the next relationship, and how can you let that sit there and not bring it in?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a short letter, but several key points here. The physical pain that the person's feeling, the sense not just that, okay, this happened to me, but then also, what now people often call gaslighting, that you're questioning and you're saying, hey, here are these clues, here are these hints I'm picking up on, and the other person throwing you off the scent, reassuring you, it's all in your head. Why are you so suspicious? That's the problem. The problem is that you're not trusting, and whatever, putting it back on you, and it causes you to really get lost on reality, right? You start to question yourself. You start to think, God, maybe I'm really to blame here. Maybe I'm pushing them away. Maybe I'm losing it. Like, I'm coming to all these conclusions and they're saying that I'm just a paranoid person, or I'm jealous, or I'm insecure. And you really get deep to this place where you start to question your own sanity or your own perspective. And then one day the lights turn on, you realize what's happened. It's out in broad daylight. You finally catch it. And I think it's such a deep cut. Like, it's brutal in that sense that you do feel just the normal sense of betrayal and sadness, right? You feel a sense of rejection. You also feel, I think, a visceral anger at being told that you're wrong.
Yeah.
And you need to question yourself that whole time, And it's so frustrating, because here you were saying, hey, I think this is happening. No, it's not. I think it's happening. No, it's not. I've caught this thing. No, you're crazy. What about this thing? No, you're crazy. Here's this explanation. And it's just so terrible to go through that detective process. That to me is one of the things, the baggage that you just talked about, that usually shows up in the next relationship. We call it hypervigilance. That detective brain where you're constantly like, oh, you're going out tonight. Yeah, I'm going out with some friends. Okay, who? Okay. Yeah, a couple of friends. Okay, is that all the people that will be there? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Well, do you know if any of them bringing anybody? Like, do they have any friends? Like, I don't know. I didn't do an audit. Like, I didn't check everybody. Like, and now it's complicating the next relationship because we're bringing those wounds with us. So this is a really good question because I think in order to make sure that we don't carry it, we do have to start talking about this idea of healing. And I think the way that we're going to approach healing here, Ryder, is very similar to how we're going to approach any traumatic events healing. Number one, we need to take inventory of what happened. We need to language it. We need to tell the story. Sit with somebody, whether that's a therapist, a support group, a journal, a friend, a confidant, and we need to review everything that we went through, the facts of our experience, how we were lied to, how we were deceived, what that experience was like for us, how it was revealed. And we're going to do that multiple times. It's not just once. And usually it's what happens. You go through a breakup, people say, what happened? You start telling your story. And, that is therapeutic. I think it's very healthy for a person to review that content. But then I think the next thing that they have to do is get to a place where they can check in on themselves. And I think whenever you're the person who's been betrayed in that way, especially when you've been lied to like this and gaslit like you were wrong and you were making all this stuff up, you need to go through a validation process where you kind of like forgive yourself. Because that happens a lot. People say, oh my God, I was so stupid. Why didn't I see this? Why didn't I get out the first time I saw this? I should have walked away. Why did I give another chance? I wasted all this time with this person. I'll never get this time back. I feel like I was stolen from. And we need to go through a process, I think, of self-forgiveness and gratitude for any experiences we had that were positive, while giving ourselves permission not to feel ashamed or wrong that we've done something that's incorrect. Because a lot of self-blame shows up in situations like this. And I think that storyizing the experience and self-forgiveness are vital to how we're going to ultimately achieve healing. I don't know if it's necessary to ever forgive the perpetrator. A lot of people think, oh, in order to move on, you need to forgive. And boy, I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, I don't know as if I agree with that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I think you can learn from that experience and you can, I think your relationship with yourself is going to be more important than your relationship with your ex.
Right.
I mean, I think I agree with that. If you've, kind of gotten to that point where you have acknowledged, that you were right about some things and there's probably some things that you were right about. There's some things that you blamed yourself for that you're going to have to let go. And there's probably some things that you can learn from,
right.
And you can take with you. But again, I think, this goes into one of the things we've talked about a lot in other shows is you can't play defense in a relationship.
Exactly.
And that's one thing that I think you're going to have to understand is that's going to be your tendency in the next relationship is to kind of play defense. Mm-hmm. And I guess what we mean by playing defense in a relationship is I don't want you to go hang out with all these other people. I want to limit I want to limit these threats. I want this person to be by me and not around other people. Just, and that's not how you have a healthy relationship. You play offense, you show that you've got more to offer than other people.
I agree.
And that's going to be,
and you have to remember that one person's behavior is not telling of anyone else's behavior.
Yeah. And you're going to be more alert to things, and that can be good and it can be bad because then you've got issues like confirmation bias where you will naturally be looking for things to confirm beliefs.
Right.
And I think the big thing is just understanding the challenges that you're going to have moving forward and just preparing for some of those things.
Yeah. And speaking of that confirmation bias, one of the baggages that often happens in the next relationship is we start looking for very small lies. Mm-hmm. And then we turn that into big things. So, you'll say, oh, going out with friends tonight. Okay, where are you guys going? Applebee's. We're going to go to the bar at Applebee's and have a beer and hang out. Okay, watch the game? Yeah, okay. Okay, great. Later on, they come home and you go, oh, how was it? It was really good. Chili's had a happy hour. It was really nice. Chili's? I thought you went to Applebee's. Oh, yeah, we were going to, and then somebody suggested Chili's. We went there. You didn't call me? No, I didn't.
You son of a bitch.
Well,
You
why?
know I love the queso then.
Yeah, why would you? Well, who were you really meeting at Chili's? No, it's the same crew. We went to a different place. Well, it seems suspicious that
why
you
couldn't
didn't
you be
tell me.
honest with me and tell me that you
why
went to-
wouldn't you?
yeah,
I texted
yes.
you while you were with them and said, "Are you having fun?" And you just said yes. Don't you think that would have been a normal time to tell me about Chili's? And so, like, unfortunately, we create this magnifying paranoia that now the other person does become evasive because we've demonstrated that we are an irrational actor and that we will, magnify our outrage. Now they are becoming avoidant and kind of deceptive, but not because they have something to hide, but because they're evading us and they're avoiding conflict. Round and round it goes until we punch holes in our own boat and it all sinks. So, writer, phase 1 is trauma recovery, languaging the experience, emotional audits of what's happened, talking through it as many times as we have to for our brain to make sense of it. Because it really is a trauma. It's something beyond our brain's ability to language when it was happening. We were actively lied to. We were actively led into pain. And so we need to go through a trauma work on that. And then phase 2, I would recommend CBT. I would want you to start identifying cognitive distortions when they're happening and learning how to self-talk through those using reason, because I don't want us to start getting anxious, believing, these false representations like, oh no, what if they're talking to somebody else or catastrophizing or mind reading or fortune telling or all these other known distortions. You might slip into those. And so when you talk about healing, yes, we want you to have less pain and less fear. We also want healing to represent that you do not start living in dysfunctional ways because of your experience. That's what complete healing would look like.
Yep.
Gosh, this is a tough one, though. I'm really sorry to hear about it. And give yourself permission to grieve, because I think that's another part of this, too. You go through the stages of grief when somebody, it's like somebody died. It's like a relationship died abruptly in a way you didn't expect.
That being said, if my wife went to Chili's, I would divorce her.
Yeah, that's where you draw the line. Oh, fuck Chili's. Okay, hold on. We got to talk about this.
Okay.
So, yes, this is
Gather
completely
round,
appropriate.
kids. It's now time
Yes.
for Dr. Jim
Yes,
Jobin's
it is.
latest Tale of Woe.
Fuck you, Chili's. Thank you, Joey Lawrence. Look, all right, God damn this song. All right, look, it invalidates everything I want to say. It just ruins it. All right, look. So, you guys, when's the last time either of you went to Chili's?
Oof.
I actually went maybe a month ago.
Okay,
In
okay.
Laughlin.
Okay, that's solid.
Yeah, it's been
I usually go to the one closer.
Laughlin, Nevada
Chili's.
doesn't have a lot of options.
Okay, so it was out of necessity.
Yeah.
So Chili's is a Tex-Mex kind of Southwestern kind of
That's what
franchise.
they say they are.
Yeah, so you're going to get a burger there. You're going to you have the option of like a Southwestern salad and things
All I
like
had the
that.
other day was
Avocado egg rolls.
a nice chicken tortilla soup.
That one actually
was
is
delightful.
That's usually fine.
Yeah.
So historically,
And it's like $3.
for years, we would go to Chili's probably once a month, but this was like when our first kid was very young. So my son now is like 13. And whenever he was like, I don't know, in the first 5 years of life, for whatever reason, the only restaurant nearby was a Chili's. And so we'd go there. So we ended up having everything there. What I discovered I liked there, they have an appetizer called the Triple Dipper. Are either of you familiar with this?
Nope.
no.
Okay, it's got these chicken bites that are basically these beer batter fried chicken fingers, and they are fucking great. And you dip them in this honey mustard sauce with this ranch. And the Triple Dipper has 3 things that you can have on it. So you can get 3 of any of their appetizers. So you get the little chicken bites, or you can get the mozzarella sticks, or the chips and like spinach dip and all these different things. Or you can get 3 of the same fucking thing. I would get 3 of the chicken bites because they're so good, right? They were just flaky and great. And I would get them with the honey mustard, and I was just absolutely a pig in shit. I was so happy about this. So fast forward, it's been probably 5 years. I think the last time I went to Chili's, the San Diego Chargers were in the playoffs and got beaten by the Raiders. Anyway, so recently I decided I'm going to go
They're
back.
also still in San Diego.
Yes, thank you. There was that too. Yeah, they weren't even the LA Chargers. That's how long ago it was. So then recently I'm like, oh, at least I'll go to Chili's again. So take the family to Chili's. I'm psyched. They still have the triple dipper. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want that thing. I'm talking to the guy. I'm like, yeah, give me triple dipper. He's like, great. What do you want as the 3 things? I'm like, go all in on this fucking chicken. I've been dreaming about it for years. I need it. I haven't had it in a long time. He's like, great. Brings it over to me. Totally changed the recipe, man. It's garbage. It's not even close to the same thing as the old chicken crisper things. They're not
I don't
the
know
same.
why, but I thought when he started the story that this was
Gonna get interesting.
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to go like
they ruined it.
Not
It was
maybe
classic.
they didn't have it anymore, but
Dude,
no, they still have it. It's just they changed the
He
recipe.
doesn't like
That's
it.
it.
It would be the
I just don't like
equivalent.
it anymore.
It's the equivalent. No, they changed it. It's the equivalent of going into like McDonald's for like, I don't know, the Big Mac. And now the Big Mac's a goddamn taco. And you're like, what? Like, this is not at all a Big Mac. And they're like, yeah, go fuck yourself. We still call it a Big Mac. That is what happened. That I was lied to.
It wasn't chicken.
So they had
It
tacos,
was.
You couldn't dip it.
They did.
It had dipping sauces.
It did have dipping sauces.
and it was battered.
Look,
fried?
it was
And there were
fundamentally
3 orders,
different,
there was
man.
3 orders of chicken.
Fundamentally
Making
different.
it a triple.
Imagine you order a chicken tender and you're given a chicken wing. That is the gap between the 2 things that I received. What I
Oh my
expected.
God.
It had bones in it.
No, it didn't have bones in it. It was still fried. Still,
I'm not hearing any difference at all.
it's meant to be. I don't know how to describe it except if you imagine. So you know, like fish and chips.
No. We've
Never had
all
fish.
gone places, not gone there for a while, and then gone back.
Yeah.
Ordered something that we liked, and we didn't like it anymore.
Yeah.
That's common.
It was a goddamn
You
travesty.
keep trying to bring in other analogies, and they all fail.
No,
It's
that's
just
exactly what it is.
They just changed the
It's like
recipe.
if you
It just doesn't
expected
taste the
fish and
same.
chips and you're given a fish finger or whatever the fucking things, fish sticks. You're just given a fish stick and you're like, what the fuck is this?
No,
like,
because
it's
that's
fish
not
and chips.
'cause
You're like,
that's
no, it's
not
not.
fish and chips anymore. That's processed fish.
That's where I'm at. I'm telling
That's
you.
not a fish fillet.
That was the
like if the
switcheroo.
menu says there's a fish fillet and they bring you a fish stick. That's different.
It was a bait and switch.
You
man.
ordered fried chicken that you could dip in some sauces.
No, I
They
ordered
brought you
the
fried
chicken
chicken that you could dip in some
Crispers.
sauces.
I think it's called chicken crispers, and it's so good. It used to be. They took it away from me, man. They ruined it.
That was a tale of woe.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
what
we
we're
don't
doing.
have any
We
more,
don't have any commercials.
No
Oh,
more commercials, so
great.
we're going to end it. I think.
Even better.
We're gonna wrap up the show. I'm gonna talk right through this like it doesn't exist.
Yep.
Go to patreon.com/therapy.
We'll come back and pick it up.
Get the show a day early, extended. Join our Discord chat community. Listen to our Monday releases on Patreon. We have deep dives, interviews,
We have releases
skill shares.
every Monday.
We release every
schedule
Monday.
them.
We when you're at our age,
schedule the releases.
you really have to just schedule these. You got to take your pill 24 hours in advance and just be on the ready. This week, we release another installment of Conscious Uncoupling, my breakdown of the book and walking through the 5 steps to living happily even after. So come check that out. Remember that all you have to do is go to that Patreon. Oh, that's right. Somebody made us a video that I forgot all about this. I asked somebody to do this, and they made a video of how to add the Patreon feed to your podcast app.
Oh, great.
And it's like a 30-second video. Go here, click this, copy it,
Where
put
is
it
it?
in, done. It's in the Discord, in the volunteer thread.
And so you're going to take that video and send it out to all of your Patreon supporters?
I'm going to put it in the Patreon at the top.
There
so
you go.
Whenever you go to the Patreon, it will be the very first post pinned to the top. You can see it for free, and it will tell you exactly how to grab the feed.
And you're going to email it to Nick?
And I'll also, Nick needs to see this video because it's
I got to figure out how to open my email.
Yeah, there's that. He has to log into his AOL.
That's a book, Nick.
his dial-up.
Oh, that's why.
Patreon.com/therapy. We've got some new supporters. We've got new TheraPals, Nick. Who joined the party?
Sandrine Topin?
Tupin.
No.
Toupin. Jacob?
Jones.
He's
Fair enough.
right. It's Tupin and he
Siraj?
knows it. He just doesn't want to support me. Siraj?
What wasn't Bernie Topin? Isn't that how he spelled his name?
I don't know.
How would you pronounce
Siraj.
toucan? Toucan. That's toucan, not token. Yeah, you're
I
an
don't
idiot.
make the rules. I don't know.
That's
And
I'm upset.
Ananamacha. Welcome.
Oh, yeah. Welcome. And thank you, as always, to our wonderful therapy partners, Dirty B and Myra, and to our bosses.
We have a pterodactyl too.
What? I didn't see that.
Trontastic.
Oh, there it is.
Yep. Look at that.
Do we do the thank alls, or is that old?
No, we still have to do that.
Is that the bottom?
Yep.
We now would like to thank all of our theropods.
Same as every month.
Thank you, Newstick, Robert Paulson, Polygon, Colin, Scoopstronaut, Linda Brandmeier, Corey Owens, Joseph Pangrazio, Brad Kiefaver, Christine Phillips, Tracy Raplogel, Gavin Bristow, Carrie Terhark, Stacy Westerland, Scoopy Jess, Ian Whitefall, Kiwi Fruit Scoop, James K, Chelsea Saracen, Craig Little, Katie Chiwakowski, Don Dorr, Jim Hunter, Adam Rabiznik, spelled like it sounds, Okie Scoop, Brooks Lyle, Matthew Nair, Take It Evie Podcast, Todd Canfield, Felicia Butler, David Sorensen, Shayla Bullock, Scoopatron, Lauren Izzo, and the Izzo, Stacy Coleman, Adam Pettinuzzo, Matt Lenegren, Heather, Scoopater Ascending, Ian Soto, Jessica Cyphers, that Josh guy, Dr. Scoop Little, Lee Popsicle, love that guy, Mama Ninja Scoop, James Dawson, Colson Morrow, Jacob Harrington, Sarah Olo, Grumpy, Lakemead Park Ranger, Sam Buck, Karen McCulloch, Megan Smith, Kate with an I, What Weekend, Some Nobody, BP, Lila, Be Gay, Do Crimes, Kelly Gagner, Nippy, Brian Emra, Drew Helligy, Alec Lancaster, Matthew Johnson, A Literal Pickle, Matthias Vanderbrandt, James Hubble, Max the Ginger Scoop, Ken Tinsley, Kimmis Stacy, Protect and Scoop, Ulti Engi, Anonymous, Jim Mills, Smells Funny, Andres Saavedra Molina, Cody Charrington, thanks for the trivia, Brady Malachek, Matt Kubik, Duffy the Slowly Getting There Therapist Bear, Brogan Hastings, Chad the Safety Lad, Walker Fluke, Julius Kappel, Kierkegaard, thank you, Irvin Sanson, Philip Geitzen, Tim Mystery, Almost Dr. Nurse Joy, Ilya Gribkov, Melissa L. Geisler, Nico, Christopher DeGursey, Trisha Ortiz, Joel McMillan, Kirsten Johnson, DJ Stewart, Mississippi Hippie, Tiny Home Travelin', Chris and Alyssa, Stacy A, Chris Conway, Fifi, Laura B, Patty Glad, Todd Vroman, Christopher Aguirre, Anthony Camarada, Eli, Heather W, Kyle, David Williams, Kate Palise, Freya Lawson, Mark Orellana, Buddy Dobbins, Travis, Indecorous Art, Eric Dyer, Emma Kane, Starchkey, Susie Kathleen, Melvin Crambule, Adam Warren, Joe Beth R. Bowers, love that dude, Trontastic, who I think is a pterodactyl, but whatever, Mike V, Stephen Landon, and Shai Ruparel.
He is now, but it wouldn't kick over until next month.
Copy.
And thank you to all of our pterodactyls: Ice Blue Scoop, Brian Lehman, Scott Brady, Fred Bashara Jr., Andrea Anderson, Lindsay Bashara, Frozen Cusser, Lori Eltsroth, Ryan Stewart, Richard Bruins, Robert Ward, Chris Cy Shonigan, Dank Butta, Andrew Langmead, Lovely Spark, Celeste Quintero, Pickett, Kristen Robbins, and TKO.
Thank you, Thera Partners, Dirty B and Myra, and our bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of our fan club. The Thera producers, thank you, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie Jr. Mintz, Smitty Scoop, who's the commissioner of the Fantasy Football League, which is restarting soon. Learn more about that on the Discord, probably. Ben Dawn, Judy Schneider, Kayla Lansbury, Dr. and Mr. Hot Dog Scoop, Malia, Leon Kassab, Cindy Ash, Mason Miller, Richard Macy, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Sammy Scoop, Ben Stanley slapping your face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, University Jeff, Mike Helm, Myra, again, Paris, Samantha Cohn, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Team Monaco, Thunder, Cougar, Falcon Scoop, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, Heo, Oscar Swanrose, A Sunny Boy, Slurpy Kaye, motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Dan Martin, and Hannah Marie.
And if you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited,
And why wouldn't you?
and enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy. And thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we got for this week's session. Want to thank our landlords, Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast. And thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today, definitely not Whitney. We really appreciate it. Remember, pod therapy isn't something you want to keep all to yourself. Share the episode with the world. Tag us on the socials when you do. It's at PodTherapyGuys on Instagram or X or whatever the fuck it's called. And whatever, the Twitter, I don't know. And Facebook.com/PodTherapy and Patreon.com/therapy.
Do you want to submit a question to the show? And by the way, you should, because we're out.
You should, yeah, send me questions.
Ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Philly Fred's Fries.
And thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment
I think
next
I fucked
week.
up my own business name. I think it's Fred's Philly Fries.
Philly's Fred Fries?
Frederick's Philly Fries and Friends.
Fredericks of Hollywood's Fries.
Guys, let's call it Friends Philly Fries, because we're friends. And we'll spell it with a PH, though.